Thousands of millennia ago, there were 12 gods of destruction who inhabit the same universe. Everything was quiet. There was a balance in all these universes. The generations passed every million years as usual, for all these occasions until there was a tournament in which the 12 universes had to fight for survival of the same world and not be destroyed by the hands of Sama. Those who were crowned as the strongest of them all was Goku, the mortal who overcame the same god's destroyers, the one who was trained to be a god. He already exceeded the limits of his own body. He never stopped training every moment of his life because he had the desire to face one of the best fighters in the universe. But that was already millions of years ago when everything was already gone. There was no longer that mortal who overcame the gods themselves. Everything was a simple legend that was told by the same god's destroyers. Even the great priest Daishinkan and the great Sama. Is that legend that surpassed the gods really still alive? More than 500 billion years ago, it was no longer the same. There were different types of races that proclaimed themselves as gods, such as Nordic gods, Greek gods, Egyptian gods. And there were several gods where they would look at the resources that made the same mortals and what they did. But it was already all in its own time, where the extermination for that race would approach. 7 million years of human history are about to come to an end. Will the fall of man be caused by a nuclear war? No. The invasion of an extraterrestrial life? No. Or the impact of an asteroid? Absolutely not. The end of the human race will be brought about by the will of the gods, the same beings that created them. Every 1,000 years, all the gods gathered for a purpose in the Hall of the Gods, where the great Zeus gave the meeting to all this. Attention, attention! Be silent! I am about to start the council. Gods from all over the world, I have gathered you here this day to decide the destiny of the human race. So now I ask you, shall we allow them to continue to exist for another 1,000 years, or shall we conclude with their existence? Gods, show us what you have decided. Whereupon Shiva raised his hand, saying, I say it's time to wipe them out. I've watched them for hundreds of years, but I've seen no signs of them ever learning from their mistakes. It would be better to destroy them once and for all. He is right. Shiva is absolutely right. For years, the world is getting uglier and uglier. The oceans are full of garbage and oil. The forests are disappearing, and many creatures have become extinct. To be honest, the human race has become a horrible plague that destroys life on planet Earth, said Aphrodite with all her radiance, where all the gods agreed. They were fed up with the human race always causing disasters everywhere. Well, it seems that everyone agreed. The council has already made a decision. The Council of the Destiny of the Human Race has decided that they must destroy the human race, Zeus would say to appreciate a voice that said, Please, Zeus, please wait. Whereupon all the gods saw him, seeing a Valkyrie standing on top of the Colosseum of the gods. With all due respect, but there's a matter I want to talk to all of you gods about, where two birds intervened. How dare you, Valkyrie, because you interrupt the conversation of the gods. If so, you are just a demi-goddess. The actions of the human race are unforgettable. Stop ignoring us. However, destroying them would be extremely boring. I propose something to decide if the human race is worthy of staying alive for the next 1,000 years. At the same point, prove if it is worthy of the gods. Why not put them to the test? So, do you want to start a new era for them? Or are you talking Ice Age and freeze them? None of that. There's a much better way to do it. I mean God against man. I mean the final battle, the Ragnarok. In the Constitution, Article 62, in its Clause 15, it stimulates that to solve this particular issue, fight the gods against man, where the law of the battle, God against man. In other words, the Ragnarok is like this, a series that have a match with one-on-one, where 13 fighters represented their same side, where they represent the gods and the human race. The first team to win the 7th match wins this round. Therefore, if the human race loses the 7th match, the gods will mercilessly destroy the humans. But if the humans win their 7th match, then the gods will allow them to exist for another 1,000 years. However, this would be impossible for the humans to win a battle against the gods. In other words, it is an extrajudicial clause, an exhibition that was granted only to entertain the gods. Are you serious? I don't know what you were talking about, Valkyrie. It is too complicated what you are saying. Remember that humans are no match for the gods. Well, I get it. I mean, the same gods that today have decided to destroy the human race want to invade directly with the humans. They want to destroy the human race without any battle. They don't want to enter the ring and face them. That means they're afraid of losing. Sorry for my trouble. Do your business. Forget about Ragnarok. Where all the gods are angry and frustrated to hear those words from the Valkyrie. Haha, that Ragnarok is a very good idea you just said, and it sounds very interesting. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's fun, all this. And well, I'm sure the rest of you are also interested in this, right? The wrath of the gods? An overwhelming power. What do you say? Listen, all my mighty gods. Let's have a battle between us gods and the human race. Valkyrie, you will be the one to choose the humans. Thank you very much, great Zeus. I will not fail in my expectations. That day, it was known about the confrontation between God and man, where no one knew of its existence, much less those gods. The beginning for a legendary warrior, for more known for a mortal that broke the limiters of his own body, a legend that will leave his cage, a legend that will never forget the beginnings of this world. Two days ago was the beginning, for man and God, the beginning that defines if they will continue to exist for another 1,000 years, or it will be their very existence that will be destroyed by the hand of the gods. The first confrontation in the Battle of Ragnarok, Thor the god of thunder against Lu Bu, the strongest human of all China. That confrontation gave the beginning of what is to come. The first battle had begun. The cries did not stop to be heard. The gods and humans who supported their opponents or their fate for humans, where unfortunately the strongest human of all China had lost at the hands of Thor himself, the god of thunder. The gods had a round one, where humans having to worry about this situation. On the other hand, in the Temple of the Gods, Brunhild and her sister will decide what to do and what they have to do. The first round is over. Instead of living in the past, we have to prepare for the future. What you have to do now is to select our representative for the second round. Not even the strongest man in all of China could beat the gods, so who could beat them? Then let's choose this man. What do you think, my dear sister? Seeing her sister Brunhild all motivated, to see an icon all over the screen. Well, who knows? Nor do I know him too, but I will take that risk. I will bet on this man. To see her sister to the icon and see a warrior with a combat doji that had black hair, an orange shirt that had a master doji. His costume was combat. His name was Son Goku, the strongest fighter in the whole world. On the battlefield, everyone was restless. No one knew what was going to happen. Well, the first battle was epic and all bloody. There was a lot of destruction, but thank the gods he has restored it. They are ready. Let the second round begin. Ha ha ha! The humans will never be able to beat the gods, no matter who is next. This will be very easy, said Tribune of the Gods. It doesn't matter, we will support our opponents, said Tribune of the human race. Everything was predicted by the gods themselves, but it was time for someone to come out of his long sleep. Well, it is time to present the first of the human race, the burden to the hope of humanity. Here it is. Whereupon a shadow appears walking around the surroundings of the same combat ring. Everyone was surprised. No one knew who this man was, nor much who he was. It is said that this man has not stopped training. No one knows who, but it is said that he has a pure heart, the one who exceeded his limits. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Son Goku. I would say the referee to see his manifestation in the ring. Wow, how long was I asleep? I think centuries. Well, I think someone summoned me here in this place. Well, whatever, it will be interesting, said the Saiyan warrior with a typical smile. The spectators saw it and never met him. They even said, wow, it will be simple to beat these humans. Even this pathetic human, that's all useless humans can do, they said the Tribune of the Gods. That's weird, because I feel this fight won't be fun at all, said the Saiyan warrior, elsewhere in another part of the Ragnarok. How beautiful is this boy, and to imagine that he has to die. But seeing him close by, she said in her thoughts, I think I've seen him somewhere else, but so what? It's a pity he dies, Aphrodite said to the guy standing in the ring in the meantime. Well, we have already talked about the human, and well, against the god who will fight against the human is none other than Shiva himself. Go ahead, go ahead. but nothing was happening. They were still waiting for the other opponent, but an unexpected call surprised the referee. Elsewhere, Goku was more confused. Goku didn't know what this place was. Goku said in his thoughts, "Wow, I never in my life heard about these gods in all my existence, of destroyer gods, but I never imagined about these gods. Well, who cares? For sure, they invoked me to fight against these gods. I hope they make me have fun. I'm bored to be walking in paradise doing nothing," Goku said with a smile to see how all the sunlight disappeared and see the dusk. Apparently, several fireworks appeared and see two men standing there, to see an old man and a man dressed in black accompanied by a violin to give encouragement to the great Zeus. Seeing that, Goku is somewhat surprised, seeing that he would face that old man. Wow, I didn't think that I would be able to face him. He has the same characteristics as the Supreme Kaio-sama. Goku did not finish speaking as the body of Zeus began to get stronger. Several muscles increased, and dancing in front of the audience, then the presenter saying, "Well, ladies and gentlemen and gods, here is the representative of the second round, the father of the cosmos, the absolute god. He started the titanic magic and the battle to determine the most powerful god in the universe, and he killed his father Kronos." Wow, I never heard of those names in my life. I'd better get warmed up, said the Saiyan warrior doing push-ups. Everyone saw him. The humans saw him doing a little exercise to his representative, while the presenter did not stop talking to Zeus himself. "Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Zeus, the most powerful god in the universe." While in the thoughts of the Saiyan warrior, let's see if he's telling the truth. He said, warming up before fighting, "What a nice welcome for me and my tastes. It feels good, all this," said Zeus in all his splendor, with a mighty god. The gods were celebrating for their god Zeus, the one who is the father of the Greek gods. "Long live my lord, we will always be by your side," they said, supporting their god Zeus while inside the spectators. What, because Zeus the Greatest will be one of the first opponents? Tell me, sister, because he's going to face the second round. I don't know, in Brunhild's thoughts. No way, then he's going to fight the second round. I definitely didn't expect this. On the battlefield, we see how Zeus was looking at his audience, giving them his blessings. But more than all this, the boy watching him. So he approached him saying, "Hey you, aren't you going to use that thing? That thing they made before?" Goku was confused with all this. He didn't know what this old man was talking about. "The one where you fuse your soul with a Valkyrie." Goku was surprised. Did he mean a fusion between two bodies into another being? But as he listened, he said, "Because if you don't, this fight is going to be over in a second." Whereupon the Saiyan warrior said, "I don't need to merge with the Valkyrie, you know? I prefer to fight on my own and bare fist." Those words surprised Brunhild and her little sister. What is he talking about? Like, he's not going to use Valkyries? He thinks he doesn't need any weapons to carry? I really predicted my calculations to him, said Brunhild in her thoughts. On the battlefield, "It's a pity you don't use any weapons then. This will end quickly, haha." "But it's only just begun," Son Goku said with a smile. "And tell me, old man, are you going to carry a weapon too?" Those words made him surprise Zeus himself, including the gods. "And you have the impoliteness to call Zeus himself an elder?" said his little sister. "You mean my weapon? No, I want this fist to pulverize you and break your bones. I'm going to fight with my bare fist," he would say to give a kiss to his fist itself. "I see, we're evenly matched then. But I will have no mercy on you. You heard me," Goku said with a serious face. "That's the way you talk, boy. All right, to begin with, I'll start," said Zeus to quickly start attacking the Saiyan warrior. However, Goku stopped it with his hand. Everyone was shocked, including the gods. "Not bad for an old man," said Goku with a smile. On the other hand, above the Colosseum, "How is it possible that a human could stop my father? What a surprise," Hermes said to his brother Ares. On the battlefield, "Ditto for a human. That punch is almost the speed of light, and I can't believe a human could have stopped it." "I don't know who you are, but we're with you, Goku. Keep it up," said the human grandstand. "Haha, this is so much fun. I won't have me then with you, so here we go again." Then Zeus again, in weight, attacked with several blows. However, Goku stopped them without difficulty, and everyone saw it by seeing how the Saiyan warrior stopped the blows of his opponent. Seeing this, the gods were surprised to see a simple human stop all the attacks of the great Zeus on the battlefield. Next attack, Divine Axe! Whereupon the great Zeus put his foot to break the boy's leg, but Goku saw it coming, so he dodged it. This is so much fun! You know, I haven't had fun in years, but you're the first one to make me have a lot of fun, boy. Let's get on with the battle, said Zeus with a huge smile, where both fighters put their combat pose. Then see how Zeus began to give several blows to the Saiyan warrior to see how he stopped him. As he stopped them, seeing the low defense of the god Zeus, Goku took that opportunity by giving him a blow in the stomach, making him spit the great Zeus. Everyone saw him to see how Zeus spit large amounts of blood. Humans to see that celebrated for the feat of the Saiyan warrior while in the stands. It's not possible! This human made my father bleed, Hermes said in surprise. Ha ha ha, that had to hurt, he said with a smile on his face. Unbelievable! I did not expect it, and to think that I was worried about him. And he is very good, and to think that he stopped his attacks from the great Zeus without receiving any damage, said his little sister Valkyrie. Oh, little sister, remember that this human is the strongest in the whole world, including that he is more powerful than Lu Bu himself. What do you mean, Sister Brunhild? It is said that thousands of years ago, this man did not stop training. It is said that he trained without fatigue. It is not known exactly, or much less. His story is not yet known. It is only a complete mystery to us Valkyries ourselves. I understand. In other words, Goku is the one to defeat Zeus himself, and his stupid arrogance that the gods have, Brunhild says with a devilish grin. Wow, sister, I didn't think you were scary, said her little sister. On the battlefield, okay, this is really fun. But it didn't end, as he saw how the Saiyan warrior quickly came towards him, and see how a kick hit him in his face, making him shoot out several kilometers, and then hit the ring. All surprised to see how Goku gave that kick to Zeus himself. The people of the human race celebrated, while the gods could not believe it, a human making Zeus suffer. On the battlefield, Goku was observing his opponent, saying, "It's a shame to have to fight you, and you know, I'm sorry Grandpa for hitting you so hard." Hearing that, Zeus quickly stood up and said, "Grandfather, you called me?" And all the stands were silent. Effect of his two sons, Ares and Hermes, who were extremely surprised, as well as the two Valkyries who were inside the stadium, surprised, but seeing Brunhilde laughing. On the battlefield, "Ha ha ha, fantastic! Are you serious? I'm so happy I can do it alone." Then his muscles started to increase more and more. At that, Goku noticed. However, Zeus said, "I can't hold back anymore, Goku." It gave the beginning to the third round of this endless battle, where Zeus gave the first blow to the Saiyan warrior, where the same, both fingers gave direct blows in their faces. Meanwhile, Zeus saw a low opening of the Saiyan warrior, so he gave him a blow to the face. After giving him an axe kick in the stomach, sending the Saiyan warrior flying into the stadium wall, everyone watched as the Saiyan warrior was blown into the humans' area, where everyone was shocked to see their opponent injured. On the other hand, that worried me a lot. I thought that human had defeated my father, but he had changed things. Well, clearly yes, but who knows yet? Let's not sing victory, you know, little brother? Said Ares to his brother Hermes. Yes, I know. On the battlefield, everyone watching, they saw how Son Goku, or the Saiyan warrior, was getting up from that area with a little scratch and wound on his face. Zeus was really surprised to see how the boy only had some scratches, and to think that it was his best hit. Not bad for an old man, those hits were effective. You know, I never felt full of life in my life like you know. Goku would be appreciated to see his fists raise and see him scream in such a way that all the spectators were shocked, including the gods, to see his eyes change to emerald eyes, and see his hair change from black to a golden color, and see an explosion of energy all over the battlefield. To see a few seconds later see Goku turn into a Super Saiyan. Everyone could not believe it, including the gods, to see his appearance change to a golden form. In the gods' spectators, what the hell is this guy? He changed his appearance out of nowhere. Is this being really a human? Ares said, somewhat astonished. Wow, I never in my life have been so excited. Seeing this opponent of the humans gives me complete satisfaction and enormous excitement at the same time, Aphrodite said, grabbing her breasts tightly. On the other side, unbelievable! I have never in my life seen that a human can change his hair, said Brunhilde's younger sister. We'll see if that can rival the great Zeus. On the battlefield, it's time for the battle to begin, he said with a smile on his face, Son Goku. Way to go, boy, and tell me, what do you call that color? This one? I call him the Super Saiyan, he said with a smile. Not bad, so let's get started at once. So both fighters began to attack each other. The one who had the advantage was Goku, as he was giving him several blows in his face, where the father of the Greeks could not dodge his fists at the speed at which he was going. So, giving him several combinations of blows until Goku sent him a strong blow in the stomach that made the great Zeus spit blood from his mouth. However, Zeus saw the attack coming, so he covered his two arms, so that the impact would be less possible. Everyone saw the spectacle that both opponents gave, to see the great Zeus all badly wounded, but still standing the strongest god in the universe. Not bad, boy, not bad, said Zeus with a smile. Wow, and to think I was only giving 50% of this state, said Goku in his thoughts. To see how Zeus raised his fist and said, well, I have no choice but to use this. See if you can dodge me this punch, he said, raising his god aura to see purify his fist and say, we'll see what you do with this. Where that time Zeus had great respect for his father and great hatred with him, but he copied that technique and created it with himself. The attack that rules over time, the fist that overcame time itself. However, he saw a red aura at its maximum radiance from the same Saiyan warrior, and see how he dodged his attack, and see how he hit him squarely. Fantastic! That wasn't bad at all. And to see how the great Zeus himself fell in his rests from this boy, and see him say, thank you so much for everything, in those fights we had, Grandpa, but you're not the only one who pierced time itself. To see him fall to the ground all bent over, his head to another place, to see that time continued its normal course. Everyone saw it and could not believe it. The human had defeated the great Zeus himself. No one said anything. It's like all are shocked of something. The gods could not believe it. The human had defeated Zeus himself on his battlefield. The human tribune celebrated his unexpected victory. Unbelievable! It is not possible. Zeus is knocked out by Son Goku's blow, but they saw that flaming aura that was emanating from the Saiyan warrior, seeing his whole body emanating a divine aura. The gods could not believe it. A human had the power of a divine god, seeing his red color and his eyes looking at Zeus himself, to say, it's a pity, old man, that it ended in the quickest way, but well, it's a fight to the death. He said it with a serious tone while inside the stadium. Unbelievable! I didn't think that in this second round of Ragnarok, he was so fantastic, and I can't believe that again he changed his color and hairstyle to a red state. Sister, can you feel it? It has a divine power. Seeing his sister on the battlefield, he saw that presence that reminded him years ago of a story that said that millions of years ago, there was a warrior who overcame some gods that were called destroyer gods. And seeing that he was a mortal grown in the same land, that mortal who had the power of a god, his aura was red as well as his hair was like fire. He had a purity for humans, and he would be the one who would bring peace throughout the planet Earth. Since I can emphasize that he himself is not a human. What? But Brunhilde, are you really listening to what you're saying? That would disqualify us from the tournament. That can't be, sister. Don't worry, let me finish. Brunhilde mentions, I mean, he comes from a world called the Saiyan race, where every being of that world can choose the place he wants to belong. And since he was a baby, he chose the Earth to give his life for any circumstance that would threaten humanity, calling it family. He gave his word to be their protector and guardian of humans, leading him to become one more of them, but with supernatural powers that the truth did not think to see too much power. Valkyrie, surprised, said, Magnificent! Wow, I never imagined it, seeing that aura and the red color in his hair. I see this legend is true, her confused sister said. What do you mean, sister? Explain to me. It is said that millions of years ago, there were other types of gods that were destroyer gods, those who maintained the order of their own world or universe. It is said that thousands of years ago, there was a human being that surpassed the same mortals and the same destroyer gods. That mortal reached divinity with pure training and effort. I do not understand, and thousands of years ago, it is said that the mortal had a red color and an aura of fire that gave tranquility to those who accompanied him. I understand, perhaps, said her little sister, but she did not finish, as her sister said, I was nervous when Zeus appeared, but apparently it was a very good combination. Everything that starts great ends well, very well. And I'm so glad that legendary warrior will finish with that damned old man, since he was the hardest one to defeat. I'm very happy about it. I can't take it anymore. Ha 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 ha. In the human stands, they shouted with great euphoria. You are the best, Son Goku! How nice! Now the gods are crying! On the other side, on the battlefield, well, it was an easy win. I thought I expected a little more from the one I thought was the most powerful, and he has given me that huge let me down. Well, what the heck. So the announcer saying, very well, it's time to finish with the second round between the battle of God versus man. The winner is Son, but he didn't finish his words as someone spoke up. I'm still standing here, said Zeus. All the people were surprised. They could not believe it to see that the god Zeus was still standing. The gods were celebrating his return to their Greek god, on the other hand. Fantastic! I knew it! I knew that my father would return to the fight. It's not over yet, said Ares to his brother Hermes. Yes, that's true. However, I knew that transformation had taken its toll on his body. He was already exhausted. On the battlefield, seeing Goku, he saw how his body was starting to sweat too much, saying, Hey, old man, don't be too hasty. Alright, I get it now. I thought you were confident and not showing off, right? Now I understand all this. Okay, so answer my question. Why do you wish to wipe out the gods? In your heart and soul dwells no evil. Tell me what the reason is. Well, you want to know why? At first, I did not know the reason why I was brought here. I thought it was a warm-up for the thousands of years that I spent in training, but when I noticed the real reason, it is because I will not allow neither you nor anyone to end humanity. Maybe they think that we are very despicable beings, that you cannot get many positive things from us, but really sometimes they can be wrong, because we are not all. There are humans that when they have to lend a hand, they do it. That when it comes to being united for a single cause, they do it. That we are fighters, that we have virtues and defects just like you. We can also make mistakes, but apart from that, we also have the right to survive, and not because of your whim to finish with all humanity. Where my family and beings that I love are, and if that were not enough, I will not allow it. That is my reason. The human tribune shuddered with such words that Goku said. They were so astonished that they began to applaud. Congratulations! And to reflect on Goku's words, bringing them to a state of joy and tears, that's when humanity united and stood up to give all the encouragement to Goku to finish Zeus. The gods who watched from the top of the ring began to praise the words of the human. Brunilda, Goku is really great, said his sister. Looks like we were all wrong about that man named Goku, Brunilda finished saying. I see you even got that whole crowd on your side, Zeus says. Ah, that's right. You shouldn't have gotten up because I plan to finish you off with a few simple fists. Haha, now I know that you were never confident. Yes, I admit it, boy, you are very strong. Well, if you want to give up, that's fine. You can. Please, let's continue with the fight. Surprising the Saiyan warrior to see how Zeus said, I thought I could win with this state. Goku didn't know what this old man was talking about, but he said, I really was too careless with you. I'm going to resort to this, but I know it will leave me much more exhausted than I expected. Seeing that, Brunhild got quite worried, so she started compressing her whole body. Goku was really surprised. He'd never seen that kind of transformation in his life in such a way. These things can only be seen with these gods, Goku mentioned. Inside the Stadium of the Gods, everyone was surprised. Wow, the old man will finally fight for real, said Shiva, raising his fists full of joy, while with Aphrodite. Wow, it's a pity it's over already so fast. For me, it's a pity for that human, but what kind of transformation has that human? And to think that before he had the red color in his hair, but now I see him with yellow hair. Never mind, this will be a lot of fun, she said, clutching her face. While on the battlefield, Zeus did not stop screaming with his suffering. Goku could not be more than surprised to see how the old man suffered, to then see a curtain of smoke. Everyone was incredulous. They did not know what was happening, but to see a person out of the same smoke and to see his final state of the great Zeus. When everyone saw him, they were really surprised and somewhat confused. His final form was almost the same as when he appeared, but with less energy as his muscles were compressed to their limits, where each muscle was keeping a gigantic amount of divine energy, where Goku quickly got into his combat pose because he wanted to fight successfully against this god. "Well, it's time to start," said Zeus with a typical demonic laugh as he struck the first blow. "Well, it's time to start," said Zeus with a typical demonic laugh, thus giving the first blow. However, he was no longer going at the speed he was going before when he was muscular. This one would go faster than the speed of light, where Goku could not perceive his attacks of the great Zeus, where he gave him a strong blow in his face. The spectators could not believe it. Goku was receiving the full blows that the great Zeus was giving him, where he was covering himself from the blows that the god Zeus was giving him. In his thoughts, "Wow, fantastic! I see he can get to do a little faster than me, but we won't take the credit away from him." When Zeus attacks again, Goku stops his fist and returns it to him with twice the intensity. Zeus is not far behind, where he quickly returns the fist again, and this time Goku teleports away, leaving his fighting side empty, where he leaves the whole audience somewhat confused. And even Zeus himself starts to spin around until... "What's up? I'm here!" Appearing in front of Zeus and kicking him in the stomach and throwing him far above the ring, he teleports back to give the final blow with full force. Zeus falls to the ring with many wounds, but we could still see the resistance he had. "But how is that possible?" Ares speaks. "If my father is faster than light, how could he not detect the presence of that being?" Ares was a little scared. Meanwhile, Zeus, somewhat weak, stood up again to go quickly to throw many punches, and both began a fist war. They went on, and neither of them gave up. The power of the intensity of those punches increased as they continued to fight. Not bad, but it makes no sense to keep fighting, because the god of the humans is more powerful than the god of all gods, mentions Brunhild's sister. It was really impressive. Zeus was getting to Goku's level, an oversight, and comes to a punch to Goku's face, scaring the audience. "I see you are very serious, old man. You even look like a grandfather," Goku says. But after the first punch, several punches start to arrive to his face and body without understanding why. Brunhild gets scared. Goku was not understanding why he could not respond to his attacks. "It can't be," Brunhild says with an alarming voice. "That old man just blocked Goku's combat points, which leaves him immobile for a period of time, and in that time Zeus will finish him off. It's impossible for him to get out of it. Damn it. We had already won the battle. Why did he have to get up?" While the blows continued, the human tribune could not believe it. They were finishing with their god. Zeus was only throwing punches in key points to paralyze Goku's body. That's why I didn't realize that this is the true deadly attack of the god. Supreme tonic immobility. "Sister, it can't be. If he keeps this up, he's going to end up killing Goku. It can't be. I don't want to watch anymore," Brunhild's sister said, even as the blows Goku was receiving were weakening him. "I never thought I would find a way to defeat the god of humans," Brunhild says, when suddenly he receives as a final blow the axe kick for the 1000th time, this leaving Goku without consciousness. The people could not believe it. They could not assimilate what they had just done to their protector. "I knew it wouldn't last long with that technique of Dad's. I won't deny that I got to feel some fear for that human, but everything is solved," Ares said. The birds start to chant Zeus's victory. When they check the ring, there was no Goku. "What? Again?" mentions the referee. Everyone's surprised because they thought they were done with the being who called himself the protector of humans. "I see you caused some damage to my body. I won't deny the ability you had to block my moves." Goku was screaming, where everything began to shake. Several debris cracked. All the people were worried. They did not know what was happening, even the gods, to see how the Saiyan warrior did not stop screaming, where he began to fly up the Colosseum to see a light shine with a strong intensity throughout the stadium. The clouds began to surround the Saiyan warrior. No one knew what was happening. to see a strong glow where everyone could not see for a few seconds. Everyone opened their eyes, and to be surprised to see the same warrior flying, but with a changed form, to see his blue hair, using phase 2 of the Super Saiyan God. But it was not the same as before, to see a tone of seriousness in his words, saying, "Sorry for the delay, this battle is magnificent." No one said anything. People were silent, until Goku said to the great Zeus, "But that won't be enough for you to finish me off." Goku appeared in front of Zeus, staring at him. Zeus could not believe that he could see the speed that this boy had, but he did not realize that Goku was already hitting him in his face. To see also give him a kick in the stomach, where he barely dodged the attack that the Saiyan warrior received. To see also give him a blow in the face, but he dodged them and began to return the punches that the other had given him before. Quickly, Zeus began to attack the Saiyan warrior, where multiple blows also did Son Goku. All the spectators to see the incredible battle could not be more amazed than they were. In the stands, "Elder, don't even think about losing this battle. You have to finish him," said Shiva, supporting Zeus. While elsewhere, "Unbelievable. Hey Hermes." "Yes, brother? Tell me what's going on." "I never imagined that a fight could be so beautiful." "It's true. You're so right." On the other side, "Dear sister, I can't stop crying anymore." "Please, Son Goku, I hope you are well." Where the entire audience was transfixed watching the beauty of two warriors fighting for their lives. The fight was so beautiful where the entire audience, if not all, as much as the gods and humans, were standing without even noticing it. On the battlefield, Zeus sent an axe kick to his Saiyan warrior's body. However, Goku saw it coming, so he dodged it and then kicked him in the back, thus launching him into the sky, and everyone saw how the Saiyan warrior flew quickly to where Zeus was, where he could not do anything, where he saw the Saiyan warrior who was above him, to see him give them tremendous blows as if it were a ping pong. In other places where everyone saw how Zeus could not move, where after seeing his muscles destroyed by the hard blows that the Saiyan warrior gave him, he felt destroyed, where he was falling quickly in the ring, when Goku made the Kamehameha increase by 20 times the power, which surprised everyone. Ares and Hermes were very surprised by the power, but they were sure that Zeus would still get up, when from the sky they saw a flash that fell in the form of a star. It was Zeus falling with great speed, making a tremendous impact on the ring and destroying it completely. Nobody could believe what was happening. When the smoke from the fall vanished, they could see a defeated Zeus. Brunhilde and her sister, with their mouths wide open, could not deny the happiness of seeing Goku win in front of Zeus. The gods could not believe it when they saw their god standing on the floor, where they accepted the defeat with discomfort. Meanwhile, now, humans and gods, the winner of this second battle is Goku. The crowd with great joy accepted the triumph of Son Goku, as it was his first victory in this circle that they appropriated, in which you should never ever underestimate the legendary warrior, a warrior who overcame the very god destroyers. The time and the day has come to present an inhospitable in which all the gods could not believe it. A human who definitely finished with Zeus himself, the most powerful of all the great gods and the strongest. The presence of all this was really quiet. They could not witness any word between themselves, the gods, while the human race was already celebrating their first inhospitable victory among themselves. By that legendary warrior who ended his miserable life of that old man in his great presence, as it was the same Zeus who ran into him, but seeing out of the ring, but does not know where that warrior went. In the temple where Brunhilde and her sister were, he was celebrating for his great victory, since Zeus himself had died. Well, we have a victory won. We can still beat the corrupt gods. But as her magical cell phone rang, she had been quite surprised, while her little sister looked on in surprise, saying, "What's wrong, sis? Why the worried face?" To show the icon of her cell phone to her little sister and see Poseidon. Isn't it possible? The second brother next to his brother Zeus. Isn't it true, sister? Why him? Why the second strongest one has to fight? But her sister covered her mouth, saying, "There, dear sister, can't you stop saying so many words in your mouth, or else I'll end up cutting off your beautiful head." Those words frightened her own little sister, saying in her thoughts, "She sounds very sweet in her words and in her face, but she's scary. I'm scared." But someone hugged her from behind, saying, "Don't worry, she's always like that." To see her sister Valkyrie saying, "Are you your sister Chris?" "That's right, sis, it's me." To see her hug her tightly on her breasts and say, "How good that the second round has won the humans. I'm so happy to see their looks of disbelief in the gods, to see their departure of that old man so fast that I did not imagine seeing his death of the great Zeus." "That's right, sister. It's a good thing that old man died, because if not, I didn't have the apple pie in my mouth. What a delight! Now that it's our turn to fight against Poseidon, the situation is a little rough. I don't know who I can put in. We need to win another round like that time with that warrior who killed Zeus, but who will I put in this round?" But an unexpected voice said, "Please, can I come in?" Seeing the same guy who fought against the great Zeus. "But how did you get here?" said the little sister. "Well, I passed through the corridors and I met you here." "And tell me, why did you come?" Brunhild said to the Cyan warrior. "I came for this," pointing to his stomach, implying that he is very hungry. "After the fight, I've become very hungry. I'm starving." The Valkyrie sisters were surprised because they did not expect that comment from the god of humans. However, Brunhild would say thank you. "In that case, don't worry, Cyan. The least I can do after defeating the most powerful god Zeus is to offer you a great banquet after your incredible battle. You more than deserve it." The banquet would not be long in coming quickly, where Goku in a second would start devouring the whole banquet desperately, until the younger Valkyrie would ask him, "And tell us, son Goku, about your story. I'm very curious to know about the god of humans, the legendary warrior who surpassed the gods themselves," she would say, very excited, and then Goku would begin to tell them his whole story while he devoured the banquet. "Amazing! I love your story, Goku! It's really fantastic!" "Thank you, little one." He said it with a smile to see an icon sounding the alarm, saying, "Brunhild, we're out of time, and I don't know which person I can get to go to the third round." "I do." Listening, he saw that it was the same warrior. "But you already fought with the great Zeus. Don't you feel tired?" asked the younger sister of the Valkyries to the Cyan warrior. "Don't worry, I still have plenty of strength and power to fight and defeat many gods." Those words motivated him to Brunhild and his sister Chris to see that motivation did not stop praising him more. In the battlefield, everything was insinuating who would be his new representative for the gods, while they were saying, "Look, for the third round they totally remodeled the platform. It's an ocean, but then the next fighter is going to be..." While on the battlefield, "Well, welcome to the third round of Ragnarok, the final battle against God and man. The gods have won their first victory, but just like the gods, also the human race won their first victory. Therefore, they're tied 1 against 1, because it will be that the gods and humans will be ruthless 1 against 1. However, that's what they do. That is to say, they will have to live or die. That is why it is a fight to the death. Then, dear gods and humans, after the fall of the great Zeus himself, they were restless for that unexpected death for their Greek god. That is why the gods want their revenge, and their revenge for having killed their powerful god. Who will represent the gods? Here comes their call." Thus causing the seas to shoot out like that to the big guy with yellow hair and his body covered with all blue. Therefore, he was with a bluish trench as well, where the referee was saying in his dialogue, "He is the one who is the second strongest of all the Greek gods. Then there would be this mighty one and the emperor of the seas, the tyrant of the oceans." All the gods were celebrating for his unexpected entrance of the mighty Poseidon. However, even the gods fear him for his fury, the most feared god of all. His name is Poseidon. All the people were silent. No one said a word about him until he said, "They're losers." He said it with an absolute cry, while the referee said, "Who would be such an idiot to take on the god of the seas? It is about this man," thus marking the other participant. "It is said that this man has not stopped training, and he is already coming for his second victory." Those words surprised the gods, even the humans. "Really? You don't say?" "That's right. no less than Goku! Those words made the human race celebrate, since they had their strongest human of all, even the most feared of all. The gods had an enormous fear against that warrior, but at that moment of starting the round, he presented new laws. But what? It's not fair! From now on, you will have to use at least one weapon to be able to face the gods. Otherwise, the participant will be disqualified from the fight. But they can't force such audacity, mentions Goku. The simple fact of having a life in his hands made the gods frown, since it was sacrificing a Valkyrie. He knew that the power of the gods was much more immense than the power of a Valkyrie, and by making them fight, they would lose their lives. Humans and gods, rules are rules, says the referee. But not to favor the gods, shouts Brunhild's sister. The humans did not understand why the change of attitude of their warrior fighter. They felt very worried, but they knew that the one they consider as their new god could easily defeat any opponent, even Poseidon himself. With a frivolous and compassionless look, somewhat irritated by life without possessing joy. Well, let's leave the crying aside and let's start with this great battle of humans and gods. Let's begin. And that's when the Valkyrie Chris gives her life to become Goku's staff, and without further compassion, the third battle of destruction began. Found already in the same ring, Poseidon does not think to give any initiative to start. Goku, eager to see him fall this time without showing any leakage of power, began with teleportation and stood behind Poseidon. But with all the skill of that god, turns to hit Goku with his sword, stopping him with his staff, although he did not want to use it. It is said that Poseidon's sword can pierce any body that exists in all the galaxies, considered the most deadly weapon of all, without destroying itself. Do you think I can fall for the same little tricks you did with Zeus? With a smiling face and something far-fetched, Poseidon says to Goku, "It's a pity you chose a race so inferior to ours." Ha ha ha! But it's even more pitiful to be gods and seek the destruction of something you created. If so, they don't deserve to be called gods, but scum of entire galaxies. Goku goes running towards his opponent to start the fight with speed. Both weapons are clashed with a unique power. The power of both blows can be visualized. Poseidon directs his gaze fixed towards Goku in order to exterminate him at once. The blows were intermittent. The speed that both had was impressive. Scarce time. You could see the fight that both are having. Impressive, sister. You are both very powerful. I can only hear the sounds of fighting, but I can't see them. Sister, I think at this point I could call it a fight of gods and not humans and gods, because I could be sure that he is much more powerful. Sister, but what will happen if the gods come to know that he is not a human? They would disqualify us. I think we could create new rules of the game, just as they did. Oh no! What's wrong, sister? It's just that Son Goku can't do anything with that staff, because as his name says, it's sacred, and he could never kill anyone with that weapon. But sister has given good blows to Poseidon. How can that be true? Well, according to the legend, that sacred staff was only a tool created as an intersection to reach the temple of a god. That means that, being created by such a good divinity, it cannot be a tool of death. Brunhild, our sister is fighting, I want to say. The youngest sister of the Valkyries was silent when Poseidon attacks Goku with an indescribable force, where with all his power they make their weapons collide. Goku resists to such an amazing power, but destroying his weapon to fight, all very astonished with the feat that Poseidon had to break that weapon. Brunhild and her sister were very surprised to see how her sister fell from Son Goku's hands to the ground. Everyone in the ring was in silence because of what they had just witnessed. The opponent drew a smile of pure satisfaction. I told you, against my weapon, no one has any escape, even your fifth god. Goku, upon hearing those words, was very angry. From the beginning, he did not want to fight with any Valkyrie because he knew that his death would be in vain and he did not want any life lost. Furious, our Goku tells Poseidon, I won't forgive you! Goku, with anger and helplessness, begins to raise his power where lightning begins to fall, witnessing the power of Son Goku. The competitor, very surprised with such power, he is watching. But what this power? I thought you had already demonstrated all your power. You're a bastard. My power that I have demonstrated is nothing compared to what I plan to do to you. The referee and the audience of the gods are surprised again. Hadn't he not demonstrated his power with the previous one? He's more powerful than the gods themselves. They mention those in the audience. The earth began to tremble, and at the same time the ring begins to open. Pieces of the floor of the fighting place begin to rise. His fury begins to be more powerful, his face unrecognizable to give way to his first transformation. You know something, Poseidon? My previous fight showed much more power than I had to offer, but it was simply to give him a dignified death. The one you thought was your first god. But make no mistake, my power level could be much higher than all of you, and I intend to prove it to you. With a fury in his eyes, Goku gave a great warning to his opponent. With a resplendent glow, he is perplexed as a god, not only with infinite power, but as a beautiful being. Goku goes to Chris the Valkyrie, lifts her in his arms, and speaks loudly. Listen to me carefully. I want you to leave this ring. The power that will come out of here will harm those who are watching us. The referee was very shocked, as most of the watching audience, with an open-mouthed expression from most of them. Goku raises his voice to tell them, all furious, "Don't you hear? Get out of here before everyone suffers!" Everyone was really surprised. More than the gods were a little surprised at first, and then they started to laugh at what he was saying. Goku approaches Brunhild to give her sister and to tell her to get the humans out of that place. Nobody understood why he was saying that, but the humans started to leave the place they were in a hurry, while the proud gods didn't believe that anything bad would happen to them for witnessing such a fight. They thought that their superiors would protect them. They started to cheer. You are no one to tell us anything, you filthy human. Don't compare yourself to our divinity. When Goku returns to the battlefield with his glowing light, he goes to the announcer to do what he said and angrily shouted, "Obey!" With a lot of anger, he made him shudder to flee from the ring. Once there were no spectators except those who intended to compete, Goku warned Poseidon that he would pay dearly. Somewhat surprised to witness that only in his first transformation he could release so much power. How can this being be human? Having a somewhat frightened face, he changes it to a face of satisfaction. I like you, little rats. Finally, I will be able to show my power that I was saving for a long time. Finally, the battle was about to begin. A warrior who with his first transformation left everyone very surprised with his power, and a god who liked the idea of being able to bring out all his power that no one had ever seen. This is going to get very interesting. Brunhild and her sister took the humans out and brought them to safety. But what are you planning to do? Sister, I was afraid of Poseidon's look. Do you think he has the power he mentions? Says her sister, a little confused. Well, maybe yes, since Poseidon is considered the strongest of the 12 gods. So we could not know what power he would be hiding, but let's go inside to see. While they returned to their place, the referee was the informant of what would happen inside the ring to all the crowd that was outside the fight battle. When Brunhild and her sister arrived, they can appreciate that Poseidon was screaming with much pain and strength. He was making his transformation, where he looked much stronger and a little taller than he already was, but with his hair a little bristly like the one Goku had. You thought you were the only one to demonstrate your power? Now let it begin! Goku goes flying towards Poseidon to give him a punch, to what Poseidon dodged it. He goes back to him, this time to give him an elbow and hit him hard in the face. Poseidon, while slowing his launch, Goku does not give him time and returns to hit him from below, making blood come out of his mouth. Sending him towards the sky, he continues chasing him to give him another strong blow in the stomach, to which he reacts with many kicks, while Goku dodges each one of them. The speed that Poseidon had was impressive, to which Goku concludes with a strong kick in his stomach and sends him towards the ring. He gets up and both take some time to look at each other. I see that at that level you are also strong, Poseidon says, to which Goku responds, and it will be the only level, so I can send you to your grave. He shouts and goes towards him again, while Poseidon says, you can't defeat me if I use all my power, and hits Goku in the stomach, making blood come out, making him return the kick he gave him in the face. This way, he made him fly and return an elbow in the head, until starting with multiple blows until ending with a knee to the stomach of Goku, both with his power distilling on them. Poseidon moves away from him to start laughing and tells Goku, "That's just a warm-up, to then give you the final attack." Goku, with his head down, tells him, "I hope so, because it would be a shame if this is your ultimate power," with a smile on his face. "What?" Poseidon says, to which he reacts to something furious to say again. "Stop talking so much stupidity, you damned human, and get ready to die!" Poseidon goes again with speed to give him another kick and give him the attack of the 2,000 edges of the sea, to which Goku responds with small leaks of power, leaving the sky dark with smoke. Poseidon goes towards Goku to call his spear and pierce him when he realizes that he was not there. He looks to both sides and neglects his back, to which Goku joins his hands to make a fist and hit him very hard until he gets back to the ring. And this time he joins his hands to make the which he throws in the direction of Poseidon to end his life. The gods who were watching could not believe it. The place where they fought was totally destroyed. There were only certain columns where the gods were. The power launched by Goku was very powerful. "Sister, do you think I can make superior the gods who think they are better than everyone?" "Sister, why don't you answer?" "Look!" Brunhild tells her sister. The oceans were entering the ring where Poseidon was sunk underground with the power that Goku had sent. "But what is that?" says Brunhild's sister. The sea served as a source of healing so that in a few moments he would transform into a 5-headed beast with power of mind-blowing strength. "But what is this?" All frightened by the monstrosity they were seeing in the distance. "I can't believe this is the unknown power. I see that besides being so handsome, he is also super powerful. With that, he will wipe out the whole place." Meanwhile, in the fight, both were looking at each other, where the great Poseidon gave the start of the fight that were spreading throughout the site, whereas beasts attacked randomly where the Saiyan warrior was, where he was quickly dodging those beasts that were being controlled by Poseidon, where he quickly raised his hands to do again his most precious technique, and then used his teleportation where Poseidon was to throw it towards him. However, the sea beasts that Poseidon created sought to prevent such a massive attack that was giving the Saiyan, as they quickly bit him in one of his legs and then threw them into the stands of the ring and see a curtain of dust in their surroundings. Everyone saw the Saiyan warrior, to see how his blood runs all over his body, to see how he fell down the ring. To see it, Brunhild and her sister could not believe it, to see how Son Goku was all hurt and see how his transformation left him, and see himself get up in front of the god of the seas, to see that Poseidon said, "You're still alive, worm?" Hearing that, Goku did not say any words. He was just watching his opponent of the seas. To that, Poseidon looked at this human and said, "This will be your last farewell, worm. I don't want to see you anymore." Seeing how he came quickly along with his sea beasts, where Goku, to see him coming towards him, felt something relaxing. No one knew why, but the seconds passed slowly until suddenly, a white aura was shining all around the combat field. No one knew what was happening, much less the gods who stayed. All that heat suddenly felt it. Even Brunhild and her sister felt that. No one knew what was happening. Then everyone was very surprised with what they were observing. A light shone all around the place of combat and beyond. No one understood what was happening, but the earth again began to tremble. The gods, surprised as well as Brunhild, her sister, and all observers, Ares reappears with a super puzzled face. "Brother, do you have any observation of what is happening?" said Hermes, somewhat calm and at the same time somewhat confused. Ares takes a serene face when he sees his brother and says, "I see that this mortal's power continues to amaze," says an Ares who couldn't believe the power that the representative of the humans, Son Goku, would have. At the battle site, Poseidon, with concern, was paralyzed, both he and his beasts. Goku, with a colossal power, was giving way to another power beyond any god, when suddenly, "Kakarot!" someone shouts loudly. "Insect, what are you going to do?" a voice continues to shout. You plan to demonstrate your power to a despicable being that doesn't even have a point of comparison with your power? Do you plan to do that? Goku, somewhat driven by anger, tried to ignore the voice shouting at him until another voice spoke again. Dad, do you think this power is really necessary? Don't you understand? These gods who believe that everything belongs to them can give and take life as if it were worthless. I'm fed up, Goku shouts. The human race understood the anger of Son Goku, but did not understand where those voices came from and who they were. They were somewhat confused. Suddenly, next to Son Goku appears two beings that no Greek god managed to know, making their appearance with teleportation. What? But who are they? Is this allowed? Mentions the birds, where just like their owner, they show a surprised face. But who are they? I see they took their time, Vegeta, son, Goku mentions with a small smile on his face, while the referee speaks loud and clear. Human race and race of gods, this is an event never witnessed before. Two beings have made their appearance on the battlefield, perhaps giving a battle of 3 against 1. Will this be allowed? Says the referee, to himself in the place where the public of the gods was shouting loudly. That is not allowed. They're cowards because those beings alone could not be Poseidon, a god who has been a legend for many years. On the other hand, the human race refuted what the gods said about them. We are no sniveling cowards. And that's when they shouted several times at the gods' audience. Crybabies and whiners? Meanwhile, Kakarot, do you really intend to show your power? Vegeta says. Yes, Dad. Don't show too much of what they deserve, would be the words, making Goku come to his senses and return to his original state. You're right, I got carried away by anger, but it would be honoring him with my power. Sister, who are they? What are they doing in battle? They're crazy. Brunhild, also without understanding, just pays attention. But what happened here? Poseidon says with a smile from ear to ear. Haha, I thought for a moment you would really fight, but I see that you talk a lot and do little. Hahaha. What? How come they call you God? Please, don't make me laugh. You are all despicable creatures. Poseidon sharply intones to what Vegeta says. I see that this is more despicable than you, Kakarot. Not only copied my way of speaking, but it is disgusting, Vegeta would say, more annoyed than usual. Well, I understand that this fight is only one-on-one, or at least that you don't feel capable of beating me, you simple human with bristly hair. He really makes me hate this guy, Gohan says. When suddenly, from the very sky comes down with a speed, another god positioning himself at Poseidon's side. But what do my eyes see? 3 against 1? It doesn't seem fair, says Thor. But what are you doing here? I can handle myself. But how is this possible? I was called to be the first one to fight against this race, but I see that you forgot about me. Or I see it doesn't matter. Now I'm here for you to feel the power of my hammer, Thor says, making lightning fall from the sky itself. And who is this lord? Gohan says. Oh sister, this can't be true! What is Thor doing here? Is it his turn to compete? I thought he had been discarded, sister. Damn, and these beings came to complicate this battle. Why did they have to appear? Maybe with Goku, we would have all won the battle. But what are these beings doing here? Shouts Brunhild loudly. Thor, I would thank you not to interrupt my battle. You will already have yours. Now let me have fun with these little animals. But Thor would not take into account the words of Poseidon. He was ready to face the 3 Saiyans representing the humans. However, a voice would interrupt.